We've got a great show today. My guest is Father Seth Reed from St. Rose of Lima Parish. He's been a priest for a little over a year, and he gets to sit here while
Joe Gates is overthinking out loud.
I can hear it all the time. I can see it in my mind. When your purpose where I know you are. When your purpose where I know you are.
Father Reed, thank you for showing up today, man.
You're welcome.
I know you lead a very busy life that I could not imagine, right?
Well, it is what it is.
Yes.
This is what I signed up for.
You signed up for it. Yes, absolutely. I had you on today because your story's a little different. You kind of got into the priesthood. You were young, but a little late in life. You were around 28 or
26, 27. I don't really remember.
Okay.
But yeah, I am considered what would be called a late vocation.
Yes.
Not too late, but later than most guys.
Gotcha. And before that, you were a lighting tech for the film industry for 10 years.
Here in Nashville.
You actually helped us out a little bit here today, and I know Trent was very grateful for that. So I kind of want to start at the beginning of life for you. I think you were born and raised here in Tennessee. Is that
Nashville,
correct?
Yep.
Okay. And, what was life like for you growing up? I mean, were you raised Catholic? Were you raised in a solid family? Were you sheltered? Were you a wild child? What was it like for you?
So yeah, my my mom was Catholic. She was cradle Catholic. And so she raised us Catholics. My dad was not Catholic. He was Baptist, but he never really practiced his faith too much. So when he married my mom, he just kind of said, okay, yeah, I mean, I'm fine with whatever you want to do. So he basically became Catholic by association with my mom. He didn't ever go through what's now called OCIA early on, but he did later in his life. But yeah, my mom went to St. Edward's when she was young for school. And then she continued to go there, and she went to Father Ryan for a year or two, and then she moved to Antioch High School. And so because of that, we went to St. Edward's.
Okay.
My two older brothers did, Jason and Jesse. But in kindergarten, my mom and dad, my teachers started to notice that there was something wrong. I wasn't picking up stuff as fast as other kids were.
Something wrong with you.
Something wrong with me.
Yeah, there's something wrong with all of us.
Yes, there is. But as they started doing testing, and they realized that I have a learning disability called central auditory processing disorder.
Okay, and what is that?
So basically, if I am in a classroom setting and there's a bunch of noise going on, my brain doesn't process what the teacher is trying to teach. I hear it, and I may even understand it a little bit, but I won't comprehend what I'm being taught. So like I didn't know how to read until I was in second grade. I didn't know how to tie my shoes until I was in second grade. Because the program that I went into in Metro Nashville schools, it was basically me and maybe 6 or 10 other kids in the classroom versus like 20 to 30 kids.
But you can tie your shoes now, right?
I can tie my shoes now. Even though I wear cowboy boots, so I don't have to tie my shoes anymore. So I had that learning disability. And because of that, I didn't go to St. Edward's anymore.
Okay.
My two brothers did. So I was taken out of that religious setting in school and I had to start going to what we used to call CCD. I think now most parishes just call it religious ed.
Yeah, that's what it was for me as well growing up.
And because of my kind of experience having a learning disability, being made fun of all the time in school, I hated school.
Right.
And so eventually I wore my mom down so much that she's just like, I'm not going to make you go to CCD anymore because you hate school, you don't want to go to school, and I'm not going to force you to go to religious ed on Sundays. I'm like, awesome, cool. So I was baptized Catholic and I had my first communion and first confession, but I was never confirmed. And so I stopped going maybe when I was in, I think, 6th grade.
Yeah.
And so I just never got
right before you got confirmed.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, I mean, people that you know are watching the show that aren't Catholic, what is confirmation?
So there are 7 sacraments: baptism, Eucharist, marriage, holy orders, priest, anointing of the sick, confession, and then confirmation. We break those down into different categories. The first 3 are kind of the sacraments of initiation: baptism, Eucharist, Mass, and then confirmation. In baptism, you are made a son or daughter of God, the Father, temple of the Holy Spirit, a brother and sister of Jesus Christ.
Right out of the womb.
Right out of the womb, yes. And then for confirmation, kind of the theology behind it is you're given the fullness of the graces of the Holy Spirit to be able to defend your faith if you become a martyr.
It's kind of like joining the club. You're in now.
A little bit, yeah. But it's more so you get those graces to help you kind of live out the best Christian life you can.
Yeah.
Like you've got the graces in baptism, but you get the fullness of the graces, the fullness of kind of the sacrament of confirmation to be able to go out and defend the faith when you have to defend it.
Right. Yes, that's a great explanation. So you were kind of taken out of the classes, didn't fully get confirmed, moving on into, the middle school or, high school world. Like what was life like for you then? Who were you then?
I mean, I think like most high schoolers, I didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
I was just some kid, and I went to Pearl Cone. So yeah, I was kind of a fish out of water in Pearl Cone.
And
I
why
was in special
that?
ed.
What's Pearl Cone?
Pearl Cone is it is a business magnet school, but it was mostly a neighborhood high school.
Okay.
And it's in Nashville, and it was it had a pretty bad reputation when I went. I think it still has a bad reputation, but
Yeah.
I love Pearl Cone. Pearl Cone is an awesome high school.
Yeah.
But more so a fish out of water there. And so I became even more so a fish out of water because my teacher realized, okay, you can do the regular schoolwork that we have here. So I suggest you get taken out of the program that you're in and put into kind of the general population.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened. And so I kind of moved away from the friends that I had established for many, many years because we were in this program from second grade until high school.
Wow.
Yeah. So I kind of lost those friendships and I had kind of struggled making new friends.
Feeling alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember particularly there was this one guy and he was a goth, like full black leather, black fingernails, long black hair, death metal, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in Spanish class one day and he says to me, "Hey man, you should read through the book of Revelation." And I was like, okay. And so I did. And again, like at this point in time, my family has pretty much stopped going to mass. Like my brothers and me have worn my mom down so much that she has just given up. And she's struggling with her own faith a little bit too.
Okay.
Like we will go to Christmas mass, we will go to Easter mass, and we'll go to Ash Wednesday. But other than that, we're not going
Not
every
going
Sunday.
to church
Exactly,
on a regular
yeah.
basis.
And so I didn't really know my faith at all. Like I didn't even know that God was three persons in one.
Yeah.
Like it was just, I didn't even know who God
You're
was.
just, it wasn't on the priority list.
It was my religion, but I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah. Same here. That's kind of how I grew up.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. That was not top on my priority list.
Yeah.
Especially in high school.
Exactly. And so, yeah, he says, read through the book of Revelation. And I think his comment is, oh yeah, like, Antioch is mentioned in there. And I'm like, oh, Antioch. Like, okay, cool.
You're like, that's where I'm from.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not the same.
Yeah.
And so I read through it and it's really cool. Like there's a dragon, there's a dude with a sword coming out of his mouth that I didn't know was Jesus.
So the
Now I do know it's
goth guy
Jesus.
gets you in the
Yes,
Bible.
he gets me
Okay.
into the Bible. Yeah, exactly. Weird. But-
Yeah.
So I read through the book of Revelation. It's awesome. I love it. I love all that imagery. And so I think to myself, there's got to be more of this stuff in this book called the Bible. And so I start at Genesis and I make my way back to Revelation.
And how old were you at this time, or what
I
grade
was
were you in?
Junior in high
Okay,
school.
all
So
right.
however old that is.
Yeah.
Was that 16, 15, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's pretty weird. Like what high school kid reads through the Bible
Yeah.
in his junior
Probably
year?
one that's going to eventually become a
Well,
priest one
maybe,
day.
yeah.
But
anyway, yeah, I read through that through my junior year. And as I'm reading it and I make it to the Gospels, there's something about the person of Jesus Christ
that intrigues you.
that intrigues me, that makes me want to do what he did.
Yeah.
And there's this one particular story in the Gospels where Jesus is traveling and he comes across this rich young man and the guy goes up to him and says, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to be perfect? And Jesus says, well, follow the commandments, love God, love neighbor. And the guy goes, well, I do that. And then Jesus' response to that is, if you want to be perfect, go sell everything you have, give it to the poor, and then come follow me. And that struck with me.
yeah.
That come follow me.
It just
give
stuck
up
with
everything.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know what to do with that. But kind of in a vocation story, that's when we would say we felt the call.
Yeah.
That's when I knew I was being called to do something with God. But again,
That's crazy.
I'm not a good Catholic, so I don't know what that is. The only
Yeah.
thing that I know is, and I talked to my mom about this, And I go, Mom, I feel that God is calling me to do something. And she goes, well, you could be a priest. I'm like, I don't want to be a priest. I can't get married if I'm a priest.
Right.
And then she said, well, you can be a deacon. I said, I don't want to be a deacon because they're not in charge, and I want to be in charge of the church.
Yeah. So then kind of let me ask you about that. Leading into that, I mean, I've got my list of questions, but we're flowing right now. And I do want to say, for me, because traditionally, and this has just been my experience, my family, Catholics, not really big time Bible thumpers, so I wasn't able to really, or I didn't actually develop a true intimate relationship with Christ in my Catholic upbringing. It was just, I got to go to mass, kneel, sit, stand, do this, do that. Try not to be too hungover on Sunday morning for mass, because my parents, it did not matter what you wanted to do or how much you hounded them. Yeah. You were going to church, and you were definitely going to religious education. Which is kind of crazy because, like, even when, like, my past, selling drugs, doing drugs, all of that, even in the midst of all that, I would still show up for mass. I would still make sure I was home Sunday morning to, like, but the irony. And it wasn't until later on in life, after I got sober and those things, that I actually did crack the Bible open. And then that's where you learn, like, man, Jesus is a pretty cool guy. Yeah. And he's not this untouchable person that only hung with the good people, and then it, in turn, that makes me think, like, if he was here today, would he be walking around judging this person for that or that person for that in the climate that we live in now? My question is, did you have a period of time in your life pre-priesthood where you were wilding out, or were you always a pretty good boy? Did you have girlfriends and things of that nature? Did you have to walk away from, like, I always tell people, especially teens, when they're still holding on to their virginity, I always say, keep holding on to it. Mm-hmm. Because once you let it go, it's the difficulty of going backwards. I would use the term, like, born again virgin, right? The difficulty of going backwards is almost impossible. Once you let it go, you usually just keep going until you get married and, not saved yourself for your spouse. Mm-hmm. Were you living a regular secular life before you became a priest?
Yeah, that's a good question. So felt that calling. Yeah. And then didn't know what to do with it. And so my dad has his own business in Nashville for film industry stuff. Wow. And kind of my idea was, I want to be a graphic designer, but I never applied to college because I hated school. So I'm not going to go to college. Yeah, me either. And so my brothers both had careers. Oldest brother was is a nurse. Middle brother was a Marine. It's like, well, somebody's got to help dad and take over the business, right? And so I said, that's what I'll do. I'll just help dad and work in the film industry. And so I start working in the film industry, and the world just sinks its teeth into me. Yeah, especially in that world. Exactly. So for the first couple of years, pretty good. Like, I'm still kind of praying. I'm still kind of following what I think I'm supposed to be doing. I've got this thing in the back of my mind. I know that God wants me to do something, but I don't know how to do it. And so I think to myself, what am I supposed to be doing? And I get this idea, well, he wants me to do something. So I start researching how do you become a pastor? And I Google and find, like, oh, I can just, like, pay $50 and get this thing where I am made into a minister. Yeah, like a non-denominational church or something. I never did that, but I thought about it. Yeah. But kind of as I do this, and as I keep going and keep working and get a girlfriend, the world just keeps getting more and more attractive. Yeah. And I'm praying every night. It's not deep prayer. I'm praying for my brother because he's in Iraq. I'm praying for my other brother because he's a nurse. I'm praying for my mom and my dad, just kind of those basic prayers. Yeah. But then eventually I stopped doing that and just fully give in to the world and what it has to offer. Yeah. I never did anything too crazy, but I was living a secular life. Like
Okay.
that calling eventually just kind of went away.
Yeah.
I didn't feel it anymore.
Yeah,
I couldn't feel it.
There's a verse in the Bible. I can't quote it because I'm not that well versed on the Bible. But God is talking about like when you continue to sin like so much,
Yep.
I'm just going to take the conviction away. And you know what I'm talking about probably, but I don't know how to quote it. And I remember I was living in LA and I was in the entertainment industry and I was single, and man, you know, I no longer drank or did drugs or anything like that, but my problem, my issue, my addiction was women and sex. And I almost vividly remember when the conviction went away, and I was just so wrapped up in it, and there was no more conviction. And then, you know, at some point down the road, way down the road, I'd already been living in Atlanta. I met my wife, and you know, God told me to get married. And I'm glad he did, because I'm, you know, 4 kids deep and all that good stuff. But for me, if I would have never got married, I would have never stopped. Like single me is like, that's me. Like, and so to see you go, because a lot of priests don't have that opportunity, right? A lot of priests didn't live a secular life for years and then go into priesthood. They usually just right out of high school, this is what I want to do, and that's the life they've lived forever. And it's one of the things that I respect most about priests, because, and I understand it. I understand why you can't be married. I understand why you can't have a significant other, because if you are married, then your focus has to be on your wife and your family and everything else, and your focus is not on the flock. And so in the position that you're in as a priest, you are fully dedicated to the people.
Yes.
And that in itself is a feat that most people don't even have the right mindset to do that, because we live in such a selfish world, in such a selfish area. It's all about me, 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 me. I've been guilty of it myself, maybe 20 minutes ago. When I wanted the mic in a different place, I was just thinking about myself. And that's me. That's just me by nature. Like, no, this way, right? And I have to look at myself in life every day. Like, why am I that way? You know? So as a priest, you live that life, you know? And so I wonder for you, how difficult is it? Or is it difficult at all to just constantly stay in this place, man? You know, do you struggle with, you know, what do you struggle with personally? You know, Father Reed, what are your struggles in this life?
Yeah. Before I answer that, kind of let me finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wrap it up.
I got ADD and I'll go this way, and there's a squirrel on the wall and all of that good stuff. Trent, are you enjoying this? All right.
So I'm in the film industry for 10 years.
Okay.
And this is kind of where some of that, the question you asked plays a little bit in. By like year 8 or 9, I'm flirting with Buddhism.
Okay.
Like just completely get rid of Christianity, flirting with Buddhism.
Buddha.
Yeah. Thinking about becoming
the
a
fat
Buddhist.
guy.
And then eventually I just become what is called a deist.
Which is,
I believe in God, but I don't think God really cares about us.
okay.
So he created us, said, okay, peace out. Deal with your own stuff. So flirting with that and Buddhism. And then eventually kind of I start going back to church, start the process to get confirmed, and I read the Bible again. I get to that same story. And that verse, give up everything and come follow me, I realize I can't ignore it anymore.
Yeah.
And I have to do it.
Wow.
So
So you
then-
read that verse in high school,
And then again,
you get back in the Bible, and it hits you in the face again.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
yeah. But yes, to answer the question you just asked, yeah, it's not easy. I mean, I'm a human being. I struggle just like everybody else. Like I'm an introvert, okay? By nature, I am an introvert. I was taught in seminary, which I was there for 8 years, because I had no college degree. So I had to get
Yeah.
a bachelor's degree and then a master's degree.
Wow.
So yeah, but introvert. So it's hard for me to sit and give myself every day,
Yeah.
but I have to, because this is what I have chosen. This is what God wanted me to do. So some days, if I have like 4 meetings or 5 meetings or 6 meetings, by the end of the day, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to deal with anybody. But then it might be like, well, I have to go eat dinner with a parishioner, or I have the emergency phone if somebody needs to be anointed because
Yeah.
they're dying.
Yeah.
I am also by nature an angry person. Like
Yeah.
being made fun of all the time in school didn't help.
Right.
And then not being able to kind of deal with that anger as a child and learning how to deal with it,
Yeah.
it just makes it worse. So simple things can just set me off like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Me
Like,
too, buddy.
my example that I always use is like you drop a piece of paper. And if you cut your fingernails, it's hard to pick up the piece of paper.
Yeah.
And you grow down like 3 times. By like the second time, I'm ready to explode.
Yeah.
And just throw things.
I can relate to that.
So the anger is kind of, have you seen the Avengers?
I have.
Okay. There's that scene where Banner changes into Hulk, and Captain America asks Banner, like, what's your secret? And Banner goes, I'm always angry. So
Yeah.
he can immediately change just like that. Like,
Yeah, no.
I feel like sometimes that's what I am. I'm just always angry.
Yeah,
and at any point in
that's-
time, it's gonna ready to go.
That is the thorn in my side in my life today.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
seriously,
it's hard,
Like
but-
I just
yeah.
always walk around with a level of anger,
Yep.
like just right there on the surface. Yeah, and I hate it.
Yeah.
You're right, because that I have to make a lot of apologies
Yep.
on a weekly basis, and nobody in my life enjoys that at all. But I've it's almost a gift and a curse sometimes, you know, in the sense of like, if you cross like my family or hurt one of my kids, or if I see you do something that is just flat out wrong, you're going to hear about it from me. But the curse is, you know, people don't want somebody yelling at them and freaking out or throwing a chair across the room, you know? Not that I've done that recently, but, yeah, man. So definitely one of the thorns in my side as well. I can relate to that.
And that is something too that I think as people who struggle with that, we have to realize that, yeah, it is also kind of the cross we're made to carry that
Yeah.
God has given us.
Why?
But that cross could also be a gift,
Yeah.
because it's the means of our salvation sometimes. Like
Yeah.
that thing that we struggle with can be the thing that helps us get to heaven.
Right.
And so it's dealing with that anger and recognizing, okay, I'm an angry person. What do I do with it?
Why do I have it?
And why do I have it? Right. Like going back to those core wounds that you have and realizing my anger stems from this. So how can I help the Lord heal me in this? And I say that. And this is what I mean by that. Yes, there is grace, and God's grace can help in that wound, no matter whether it's anger or lust or gluttony, no matter what.
Yeah.
But we also have to do our part in working with God's grace, like going to counseling,
Yeah.
having a spiritual director, talking with people who struggle with the same things that we struggle with, and getting that help that we need.
Yeah.
That's working with God's grace.
Yeah.
Because then we have those means by which we can begin to heal from that wound.
Yeah. I had a therapist recently say to me something that no therapist ever in the history of my life said in regard to my anger, because it's something I've worked on vigorously for years, whether it be therapy, counseling, whatever, you name it, right? And he looked me dead in my eyes a couple weeks ago and said, what is it that your anger is protecting you from?
Yeah.
And that hit me like a ton of bricks, man.
Yep.
And I've been pondering it for weeks. I haven't came up with an answer yet.
No? Yeah.
I don't know what it's protecting me from. Getting hurt, I don't know.
Yeah.
Feeling like I'm going to get hurt. Nobody's hurting me, bro. I have the greatest people in my life, man. I mean, you know, I'm blessed tremendously, and God keeps putting amazing people in my life, you know, like you and my guy Trent over here, you know, just constantly blessing me. But what is your anger protecting you from, you know?
This is something that my counselor told me maybe 2 sessions ago. She said, you know, why is it that you use this anger to protect yourself? What are you protecting yourself from? And she said, because I've got
This must be a counselor slogan that they use on us that they got from a handbook. Okay. Yeah, please go ahead.
And so I revealed some stuff to her that happened to me when I was a kid in the past, just through school and stuff like that. And she said, well, I think it's, you feel powerless, and your anger is a response to your own powerlessness.
Yes.
And that's how you protect yourself from the powerlessness. Because it's like, this is the greatest example that I always use during a homily. You've heard this multiple times. When you're driving and somebody cuts you off, makes you angry.
Yeah.
You want to start giving the Tennessee wave, as I like to call it, and yelling and screaming and ranting and raving. But if you look down at it, why? Because you're powerless. You can't stop that person from cutting you off.
Yeah.
And you can't rewind time and make it so that you cut them off instead.
Right. What
So
I
you're
could do
powerless.
though is chase them down.
You could, yes.
And pull them out of their
You could.
car at the very next red light.
But then you would probably go to jail.
I probably would. Yeah. If I got away quick and they didn't see my license plate, but that's beside the point. The powerlessness.
Yeah.
So you just answered the
Maybe, I don't know.
question
You'll have to keep searching.
that I've been pondering for weeks since my therapist said that to me, man. Like literally, that's all it is. Insecurity, powerlessness. Like, I don't have the power right now.
Yeah.
And you're making me really angry about
Yep.
that. Crazy. That's like, I'm a baby. I'm being a baby. I want the power, Gosh, great answer there. Moving on, unless,
No.
okay. We're flowing. Trent, do you have any questions for the priest? Oh, you're not mic'd. I'm sorry. This was like a good one to get you involved in today. But let's see here. I want to know. Okay. What is something through your priesthood? You hear people's confessions every day.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's got to be heavy, right? Because you don't get to share that.
Yeah.
You take it to the grave, per se. If you did, you're out.
Yep.
Right. No more priesting for you. What is something that you've learned about human nature, people, through counseling? Because I know that you have certain people at church that you're advisor for and things of that nature. Something you've learned about humans through counseling, through hearing confessions all the time, just share something that I guess sticks out to you through all of that process.
The thing that's kind of stuck out to me the most is that couple things. People think they are far worse than they are, and they're not that bad. Like in the grand scheme of things, nobody is truly that bad. Like the Ted Bundys and the John Wayne Gacys and the those type of people. There's not many of those people, but people tend to think that they're worse than they are, and they're not. You're a fallen human being.
Yeah.
And God still loves you because he died for you, and he just wants you to do your best.
Yeah.
Try to be holy. That's all he asks of you.
Yeah.
So that's one. People think they're worse than they are, and they're not truly that bad. Secondly, is people just want to be seen and they want to be loved.
Yeah.
And I think if we as humanity would see each other more and love each other more, I'm not saying all the issues would be resolved because we do live in a fallen world, but I think we'd be doing ultimately what Christ himself did. He ate with the prostitutes. He ate with the tax collectors.
Yeah.
He saw everybody. Even when he's arguing with the Pharisees, he still sees them.
Yeah.
He still interacts with them. He doesn't kind of treat them as lesser. He may correct them. He may get harsh, but he still sees them and he still loves them. And he calls them to a higher standard than what they're currently living. And I think if we do that, we will do ultimately what Christ is calling us to do, which is see each other and love each other.
Yeah.
Now, again, that's not saying you are okay with what everybody does. You do call people out because Christ himself says to do that. You love the person, you hate the sin.
Right.
But most people just need to be seen.
Yeah.
And they just need to be listened to.
Right.
Like one thing that I hate more than anything. So a little background to why this is. My brother died, and the circumstances around that are whatever. We don't know. Okay. But he died.
Was it health or?
I can't really talk about it, but
Have no idea. Okay.
Yeah. But one thing that people ask me all the time after that happened is, how you doing? And it's like, how do you think I'm doing? My brother's dead. Like,
Yeah.
I'm doing terrible.
kind of an angry response. No,
Yes, exactly. No, it is. Yes, because it's powerlessness. I couldn't do anything because it's dead, right? But that's the thing is like, if we truly ask somebody how they're doing, we use it as a pleasantry, especially in English language.
Yeah.
It's how are you doing? And it's not really, I don't care how you're doing. I'm just being nice because I see you. How you doing? Oh, I'm doing good. And then we go about our ways. But if we truly sat down with the person or even if we're just crossing paths and we say, how are we doing? And then add, I really mean that. How are you truly doing?
Yeah.
That person would be seen. And they may not spill everything that they have to spill, but they maybe go, oh, I'm not actually doing too good today. Like I'm doing pretty bad today, actually. Yeah. And that's just a moment like, okay, hey, I see that. Like, what can I do for you? Can I pray for you?
Yeah.
You want to go get a coffee sometime?
Yeah.
And just that little interaction is seeing that person and loving them as they are.
Yeah.
Instead of what we usually do, which is, oh yeah, I'm okay. Thanks for asking. And then we go back.
It also kind of matters who asks how you know, how are you doing?
Yes.
Because like
you and your wife are going to have that conversation.
Yeah.
You and
or if you ask me, I'm going to be like, well, Father Reed,
Yeah.
But if I walk out there and I pass somebody and it's somebody I've never seen in my life and he asks me how I'm doing, I probably am not going to be like, man, I'm having a really bad day today.
And that would freak that guy out.
I'm feeling angry, man. Yeah, he would probably run away from me.
But maybe that's what we should do. Maybe we should make people uncomfortable. Because again, it does. We don't have to get down into the stuff that's there. But if I'm a stranger and you're a stranger and we walk by each other, or let's not say strangers, associates, right? Let's just say we're associates.
Yeah.
And I say, how are you really doing? Your response like, I'm not going to tell this guy that. But then you might stop and go, actually, I'm having a kind of a bad day, but you don't need to worry about that. But that person is seen in that moment.
Yeah. I heard and I said this the last show, but I want to say it to you. I heard a pastor the other day, because I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube, man. I listen to a lot of, different Christian pastors and whatnot. And he said, as Christians, we are called to love. We are not called to be loved. And I took that as this, okay? I took it as, man, take the focus off of like everything I need and everything I want from you and you and you and you and you and you. And as I sit here today, my calling from God is to love others, right? Yeah. And to spread the gospel. I took it that way. How do you take it? Like, how do you take it? Or what does that mean to you?
Yeah. My first response is I don't think that's true. Like,
okay.
We are called to love others, but we're also called to be loved because God created us out of love. That's the only reason we exist is because he loves us so much that he creates us out of love. Yeah. And he only does that because of love. Why did he die for us on the cross? Only out of love, for no other reason. Yeah. It's only love. And so I would say, yes, he is right. Yes, we are called to love, but we are also called to be loved, because how do you know that God loves you? In a very real, practical way. You may feel something sometimes, but the primary means by which you know God loves you, Joe, is through your wife. Right. It's when she says, I love you. It's through your kids. Yeah. That is God reaching out to you through them and telling you you are loved. Majorly. Yeah. Absolutely. Good answer. That's how I would kind of nuance that. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure that was in the back of his mind, probably. Yeah, we hope. You were probably like, why are you listening to other pastors? No. Hey, man, you do what you want. Well, hey, look, and that leads me into this. I was raised Catholic. I left the Catholic Church like the second I could at 18 years old, right? I don't have to do this anymore. I'm an adult now, right? And my parents gave me that. But at the same time, at 18, I was literally like selling large amounts of dope and, being a complete lunatic and getting arrested for selling all that dope, which I'm glad all that happened to me because it made me into the person that I am today and allowed me to create a relationship with God that I probably would have never had otherwise. But I left the Catholic Church, and then there was a time in my life when I got myself together. Instead of going back to the Catholic Church, I started going to non-denominational churches. The non-denominational church gave me this kind of charismatic, energetic, loving Jesus kind of thing, right? And it also gave me a new set of eyes to view my own religion, Catholicism. Right. And I'm grateful for that.
And I ended up going back to Catholicism and bringing my family with me. And, you know, as you know, my wife getting converted and all that good stuff. Where is, I feel like, in a lot of ways, the Catholic Church is missing the mark as a whole when it comes to appealing to the younger audience. It seems like, in my mind, and I could be wrong, we're losing the young ones, man. Why that is, I don't know. The mass sometimes doesn't seem to be appealing to the younger audience, be it the music or whatever. As an adult, I'm like, man, this is crazy. This is exactly how they did it thousands of years ago. And I love this. And I'm meditating and I'm being quiet and I'm just having a moment with God for an hour and 15 minutes. But for the younger kids, the teens, with all of these influence and the pressure of, hey, it's better to not believe. It's better to not be a Christian because Christians are bad and judgmental and they'll judge you and they won't let you live the lifestyle that you want to live, whatever that may look like. And music, the way music is influencing kids. I mean, it influenced me. I thought I was Tupac for like 3 years. How does the Catholic Church, or how do you think the Catholic Church, or how are they addressing what seems to be a lack of appealing to the younger folks? I mean, church, right? I know what's going on because I teach these teenagers. I know they're not locked in and I have to act like a complete lunatic and make them laugh and all that good stuff to get them locked into what I'm talking about. So what is your opinion and thoughts on that?
Clarifying question real quick. What age range are we talking about?
Definitely like the middle school, high school
Okay.
range for sure. Because I feel like that's kind of, you know, they got it bad nowadays, man, with technology and all that stuff, bro. And
Okay. So I have 2 jobs for the diocese. I am associate pastor at St. Rose of Lima, and then I am also chaplain for University Catholic at Middle Tennessee State University, so MTSU. And so I deal a lot with like 18 to 22-year-olds.
okay.
That is my primary ministry, not
Okay.
St. Rose. So, and we have about right now under our umbrella at MTSU, about 70 to 90 people that show up. So when these young adults show up, it's like, why are you here in my mind? Like, what, you could be doing anything else right now. You're in college.
Yeah.
But you're coming here on a Tuesday to hear me talk about whatever. You're coming to mass when I'm offering for you. You're coming to these events and you're a college student. And that to me sets me on fire for my own faith.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
they're choosing that.
Yeah.
If you look at the statistics, most people in that age range and younger, so let's say juniors in high school up until probably the age of 40, people are actually returning to the church. But they're not going to those types of parishes that are more evangelical. They're going to the Latin masses. They're going to the more traditional masses where you have what we would call the smells and the bells.
Yeah.
Like that is the trend. The trend is they are going to those masses. They want the Latin. They want the smells. They want the incense.
Yeah.
They want the bells. They want the priest to chant.
Yeah.
They want that type of liturgy. And that's what's drawing them in. The girls want to wear the veils.
Yeah. I'm seeing that a
Now,
lot.
some of them are cosplaying like it's the 1950s, okay?
Yeah.
Because they want that. That's what they want, okay? Or whatever, that's fine. But some of them, no, they're being drawn towards that tradition. Now, for the younger ones, I think this, and this is just my own theory, okay? I think this is the primary issue for a lot of people. We, as a church, lowercase Catholic Church and capital C Catholic Church, so I include all denominations in this, not just us.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't teach people how to pray.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it is God who teaches us how to pray, right? God
Yeah.
is the one who opens our hearts and all that stuff. But what I mean by that is we don't give them the tools and the resources to know what it is truly like to have a relationship and commune with God.
Yeah.
If you are a teenager and you lose your mom or your dad, what are you going to do? You're going to pray to God and say, Jesus, why did you take my mom? And you don't hear anything.
Yeah.
It's going to be radio silence. Because
Or you don't know how to hear.
or you don't know how to hear. Exactly, right. And so for you, that's radio silence. God, so therefore what? God doesn't exist.
Right.
Even it's something as simple as I don't have a girlfriend and I'm really lonely, or I don't have a boyfriend and I'm really lonely. God, give me a boyfriend, and then that doesn't happen. God, give me a girlfriend, that doesn't happen. Radio silence.
Yeah.
God's not listening. So
Right.
therefore what? God doesn't exist.
Yeah.
If we taught people and gave them the resources to what it truly means to have a relationship with God, I think people would want to come to mass.
Yeah.
They would want to go to their religious service. They would want to pray, because then they would realize, okay, I may not hear God, but God is all around me and God is
Yeah.
always talking to me. And I don't
Through
know,
other people.
through other people, through nature,
Through signs,
through
through
whatever.
anything.
Yes, everything. He's always speaking. It's just like we have to be like a radio and tune into the frequency and look and listen.
Yeah.
And then we'll see where God is truly speaking
Yeah.
to us.
And
I think if we teach people that, if we teach the kids that,
yeah.
they will be interested in their faith, and they will realize this isn't just a bunch of boring stuff. This actually matters.
Yeah.
And I can talk with God. It's just going to have to be in a different way than I talk to somebody else.
You're right.
That's the primary thing. The secondary thing is kids are going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And that is part of human development.
Yeah.
If they want to leave, they're going to leave. And they're either going to come back or they're not. Just
Yeah.
like you and just like me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's ultimately
we both
grace.
did that.
Exactly. Yeah. And here we are. So
Yeah. It was crazy because, you know, I live in the realm now where everything is God talking to me.
Mhm.
You know, I don't live in the flesh, or, you know, I'm not sitting here with your skin and bones. Like, I see your spirit. I just, that's where I'm at in my relationship with God. And, you know, I'm able to listen to people and see things. And the big thing is that God has taught me, or prayer life has taught me, is when I don't know what to do, my God is not a God of confusion.
Mhm.
I know that in that moment, I pause and I make no decision at all until the right answer comes, right? And that has helped me throughout life tremendously. And that is how I make my decisions and how I decide, you know, what I'm going to do. We got a few minutes left. I definitely wanted to get this question out, which is kind of going down another road, and but probably won't be, you know, take long. Have you yourself, as a priest, or even before priesthood, have you yourself ever experienced anything like crazy spiritually, whether it be from the demonic side to the good side? I know for me, and I'll get into it one day, like you know, demons don't scare me. I've seen one. I've seen one manifest in somebody before, and I unmanifested it, like, with prayer and everything. Like, they just don't, I don't get scared about stuff like that. I really don't get scared of anything, mostly, but, except myself. But, have you ever experienced anything in that realm?
two kind of things come to my mind immediately. The first one is kind of that calling, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why that kept repeating in my head, give up everything, come follow me, when I kind of felt that second call. Like, it wouldn't go away. And there was no reason why it shouldn't have went away after a while. But this was like months of me hearing that in the back of my head. So that to me is a supernatural thing. Like, it was not just my mind, it was something else kind of repeatedly hammering that into my head. So that's one. The second one is in the experience with my brother. We were kind of looking for him and his body. And I was I'm in seminary at this point, and I'm like 29, maybe, I don't know, old enough. And I'm sitting there kind of looking around, and I ask myself, where is God right now? Where are you at?
Mm.
And then I hear something say, I am right here with you. You just have to look around at all these people
Yeah.
that were there.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
All right. But since you mentioned the demonic, this is an experience that happened, and I did not see this. So let me say that. We got a call to the church office, and basically this person needed their house blessed because there was stuff going on.
Okay.
And so I talked to one of the exorcists in the diocese, and they go, you need to go celebrate mass there and then say some prayers. Okay. So I go to the house, I bring a deacon with me, and the person who owns the house is there. So celebrate mass. And as we're putting up our robes and stuff and hanging them in the closet so we can go around and bless the house, the deacon he kind of he stops and says, "Father, did you see that?" And I kind of say, I didn't see anything. What happened?"
Ooh.
And he said that he had put his robe up, and it was like somebody took it and swished it around like that.
Wow.
And so like my heart rate immediately starts going up, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay." And so, but I play it cool and I say, "Hey, man, maybe we made something angry. That's what we're here for. We're here
Yeah.
to drive it out. So don't let it bother you. So let's just do what we're
Yeah.
here to do.
Do what we came to do."
Exactly. And so I'm kind of freaking out a little bit in my mind, and I go upstairs to bless the attic. And this was probably just a draft, but I open the door and I feel a giant gush go by me. But at the same time, I hear them opening the door downstairs. So was
Yeah.
that something or not? I don't
Yeah.
know. But the deacon was like, the dalmatic, the robe, it definitely moved. Like it moved, and I didn't touch
Yeah.
it. And I said, okay, that's cool.
Like, I'm here.
We're here to do our job. Let's
Yeah.
do it. So, and there's been other experiences too, but that could have just been sleep paralysis and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I don't know. So who knows?
I could have been walking in my sleep down the
exactly.
street there. And then, man, just ending one, I mean, just thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I know that you are getting pulled in 50 million different directions, so it means a lot to me that you took the time to come by here. And secondly, man, any parting words for anybody that may be listening to this podcast that is struggling with their faith?
If I can tell you one thing, it would be this: do not be afraid. Those are the words of Christ. And no matter what you're struggling with, no matter what is happening, there are people who love you. And if you are a Catholic, come talk to your priests. If you're not Catholic, go talk to your pastor. If you're Jewish, go talk to your rabbi. Go and talk to those people that God has put in your life to help you.
Yeah.
And listen to them and tell them you're struggling and that you need help. Because our faiths are not one of just believing. We believe in rationality.
Yeah.
It's faith and reason.
Yeah.
And if we talk to those people that God has put in our lives who can help us understand better, we might come to understand a little bit more why it is that we're questioning.
Yeah.
And questions aren't bad. Questions are okay. You should ask questions about your faith. You should ask questions about your religion so that you can go deeper and better understand who God is calling you to be.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, man. Thank you
welcome.
for coming by. Appreciate it.
I can hear it all the time. I can see it in my mind.
When you